categorically by the lady in the video, among several others, that they were given envelopes with we and 100 CDs. So I am just basically.
So when there is an envelope, the probability
there is a probability there is a weed and then the 100, which means weed is in a high demand, you know.
No, but
you can't say same of the electoral officers. You may assume
guess
that
what is better than an electoral officer on your side who is inebriated with weed? Did you see one of them counting from 33 to 37? What do you think that is?
My main issue is that for a well-trained EC official, right there when the envelope was dropped in front of you, you should have returned it. Even in the forum, it was so wrong, you know, for that to have occurred, and even for someone to actually take pictures or videos of. And if someone took a video of it, then it means that somebody was expecting something to have happened, because it was really captured with just that event. It was not like there was a video, general video being taken and ended up capturing him. Again, you have no business in that polling station, because I don't think the MP was going to vote. So you have no business there. So why that level of access to the polling station? And I think these are the things that must be addressed at the IPAC. During elections, who have the right to go in there when you are not a voter? You know, some of these things are early signals and warning to all of us to start talking about it and making sure that we have our people so educated that some of these things will not happen right in front of them. I don't see why an MP from somewhere else would have full access and that level of access to the polling station officers to even influence them, whether it is an influence to that effect. Lastly, I will say that the EC itself must find a way to look a bit professional. You know, I watched the video, and the police station doesn't look well arranged. It was like a joke. In fact, probably because the NDC was not in that election. I don't know, but I feel that we are leaving things to chance, because I know that most of the time we cordon off that area. But from the video I watched, there was no cordon off. There was not, everybody can just walk in. Normally they would have used their tapes to, you know, even where there are canopies, they will tie their tapes around it to prevent people from coming from all angles. Because I watched the angle the MP came from, and you could clearly see that he just walked in. He just probably parked his car and walked in by the side and all that. And the EC should rethink most of his doings and train his staff very well to be mostly professional. But I think that this is a good opportunity for the NDC to go in there and make sure that we turn these numbers to our side. And that is where we need real campaigners, not people who would dress and be following everybody around. We need people who get down there and get work done. That is what we are lacking.
Thank you, Don. All right, so you're still watching Alhaji and Alhaji here on Pan-African Television, and we are coming to you live from our Kwame Nkrumah studio at Tabelimpi number 48, Swanika Street. We're also live on Radio Gold 90.5 FM. And so join the conversation by sending in your comment, your thoughts, via our Facebook page at Pan-African Television. I'll read it loud and clear. Before we move to Mame, I'll do these few messages. Good morning. A Jusoba election is an eye-opener to us. We are leaving no stone intend to keep our eyes on the ball till His Excellency JTM is sworn in as President of Ghana come January 7, 2025. This clueless, incompetent and greedy party must be kicked out. This is coming from Buhari, from Buku Krusung Tamale. Thank you, Buhari. I'm watching you live from Tamale, and my name is Salim. Thank you, Salim, for joining. Good morning, Madam Host. My submission is that the NDC fraternity must be vigilant and proactive in this year's election, because the NPP's dubious plan of breaking the eight started way back the day Nanado was sworn into office. Abdullahi Abdul from Tamale. Thank you, Abdullahi. The true story about the country or the current doomsaw. I think this message is lengthy. I cannot do that. Good morning, Madam Ivy and your panelists. The Joso by-election clearly showed the NPP is marching to the bush where the elephant comes from. Independent candidates are going to emerge the more. Stephen in team reconciliation strategy will add salt to injury, so he better stop. Mr. Solomon has said it all. All that happened before, during and after the election will manifest itself in the 2024 elections. So the butterfly and the umbrella members must use it as a lesson to fight giddy actions. Whether you like it or not, we smokers and the drunkards will be in the election day. Take note, my name is Yakubu Zabzugu, and I am in Wa Upper West region. Okay, the outcome of the Jesuba election clearly indicates that the NPP is on the path towards opposition, and this is coming from Dr. Daublo from Brimsu Apewusika. The statement of the NP who gave the bribe showed that he had given the bribe to all electoral officials in all polling stations. This because all officials of the various polling stations needed lunch, because lunch is lunch for all and not only for 2 or 3 officials. And thank you, Abdul, for your message. Good morning, Pan-African TV. I am very worried about our beloved country. It is worrying how people in positions think the country belongs to them and they can do anything and still bribe their way into power anytime. Varit from Apla. Well, thank you, Varit, for your message. Mame?
Let me start by congratulating Senna, and his very lovely, very lovely new bride, on this beautiful journey that they have decided to take together. I'm sure that Senna, wherever he is, he's very happy, and he feels as free as a bird and very happy, to take on life with new vim, new energy, and we would see a glorious change in our brother as the years unfold.
Seeing the cage bird.
As the years unfold. I've seen his wife, and so I'm sure that everything will be lovely. Everything will be lovely.
Senna himself is a very
lovely
beautiful
man.
Lovely.
He was so sparkly yesterday.
Yes.
Unfortunately for him, his position may have been affected by an exercise. Gender transmogrification.
Oh dear.
He will come back as the producer of the show. Senna, good morning to you.
Senna, good morning to you.
We miss you already.
Good morning, Senna. Good morning, Senna. Well, for me, the biggest issue in Jusu would be the voter turnout, right? I'm looking at the figures, here, and we are looking at a voter turnout of about 47%. I like to compare it with in our recent past, the other, by-elections we've had, and that would be Fomena. We had 60% voter turnout. In Asen North, we had 70% voter turnout. So, for me, that immediately takes care of the argument that there's low voter turnout when it's a by-election. Because when you look at the numbers, this will be the lowest we've recorded, in recent times for a by-election, which tells me immediately that what we are all scared of has come upon us, and that would be voter apathy. And for me, voter apathy is a direct consequence of bad governance. When people are so disillusioned, when things are not going well, when promises are not kept, you know, when there's a certain level of unruly leadership, the populists just sort of give up. We give up hope, we lift up our hands in despair, and we think that let them do what they can do. Well, I hope that we don't do that. I pray that the average Ghanaian doesn't lose all confidence in the electoral process. Because guess what? That is all we have. That's all we have. What else do we have? That's all we have. Our ability every 4 years to cast a vote. And it's important to me that the average Ghanaian realizes that and appreciates the power that is. That's the power we have. And it's the power that I think the Ghanaian exercises so beautifully, because we are that country, that shining country, this side of the globe, that is able to change governments as and when. You come, you go. You come, you go. And I want us to remember that. And I want us to hold on to that power. And I want all of us to, on the 7th of December, come out in our numbers and show how we feel and demonstrate how we feel. It's not enough to sit back and say that things have gone so bad and so I will not involve myself. Well, other people will take the decision for you. Whether you vote or you don't vote, we will have a government in power come when the results, I was going to say December 8th, but we don't know. So come when the results are declared, we will have somebody, you know, in, whether you vote or you don't vote. So vote. Vote. Let your voice be heard. Exercise that power. Vote. Come out. If this government hasn't gone well, let it be known. And for me, it's also important, it's crucial for our development as a country if we move away from, you know, dealing with politics like it's blood. Because even with blood, when something is not right, you say it. In my family, we were raised in such a way that when something is not going well, you say it. So if my brother is misbehaving, I tell him, you are misbehaving. If I'm doing something he doesn't agree with, he tells me, I don't like what you are doing. The Don just told you how we've been disagreeing. And the Don is my Don. Right? But when we disagree, we disagree. So even if you are an MPP man, and this leadership is not going well, disagree. Vote them out. Because I've realized that in predominant, you know, communities where we say deep blue, I've just been told that it just is a deep blue, you know, community. What happens is that people then just abstain. And the reverse is true. Let's say you were NDC, right? If NDC, you know, is not going well, there are some communities that, in those communities, there will just be a low voter turnout. People will just not come out and vote. They would rather abstain than vote against their own. I think that as a people, this is where we stop that behavior. Because the more we do this, the standards get lower and lower and lower and lower to the point where now we are being given weed to go and vote. Ivy, imagine my shock. Hey, is this how lowly we are thought of? Is this how low we have dropped as a people in Kwame Nkrumah's Ghana? Ghana, we first won independence this side of the world. And I'm saying world because, you know, beyond Africa, other people had to fight for independence as well. This is how the Ghanaian is sophisticated. And we've been sophisticated like this, not today. Pre-independence. The Ghanaian has always been sophisticated. The Ghanaian has always known what is right for him and what is wrong for him. We have always held our own. We have always said when we don't like something. And today, the Ghanaian is believed, there's an assumption that you can change the Ghanaian's mind with weed. Weed. I mean, this is insulting, to say the least. And I think that all of us, especially the people of Ejisu, should show to those who gave them the weed that, come on, we are better than this. And for this insult, on December 7th, this is what we give you. Because, like I'm saying, it can only get worse. It doesn't get better. It gets worse. We've always known about money being a problem in our politics. That's how I was having a conversation, and I was having a conversation with my dad. And I said to him that today's Ghanaian will vote for you, or at the very least tolerate you, encourage you, if there's a perception that you are rich. Never mind the source of the money. So look at all the names we are hearing, the names that people are supporting for presidency lately. The shocking ones. They are supposed to be rich. The ones that, have you thinking, how? How does this person have so much supporters? You go to the salon to fix your nails. The ladies are hailing somebody. You go to the taxi rank and they are hailing somebody. And you are thinking, but why? It's money. He is rich. Somehow, suddenly, we seem to think that when somebody is rich, then the person is a leader or can be a leader. Or never mind the source of that money. Never mind. That's a problem. That's a problem we need to solve. Kwame Nkrumah was not rich. He wasn't. We are looking for people with hearts. People with integrity. People who are yearning for this country, who want to see it, if not change, let's say develop something. And definitely money cannot be it. That's why in the other by-election, when the people spoke and said that we will take your money and we'll still vote against you, I was so happy, exceedingly happy. Take the money, but take it as an insult and vote against him. So the one that gives you money is the one that you should vote against. If you are looking for what to use to vote, use the money to vote, but use it to vote against who gives it to you, because that's an insult. And again, I come back to this issue of having nothing to use to vote. Because if we had something concrete, we wouldn't be talking about money. But we have nothing. Absolutely nothing to use, as criteria to vote. Look at somebody like Professor Kingsley Nyaku. When I was growing up, when I hear professor, you have my instant respect. Even before I see you, even before I know you, even before I've heard you. Once I hear professor, instant respect. Because for me, even beyond the academics, the fact that, this person is knowledgeable, it's just the fact that this person is disciplined. Because imagine the level of discipline it takes to be able to, have that title. The years and years and years of schooling. You and I have been to school. You know what it takes, the commitment. Especially at a certain level, when you are working, you have a family, you have kids. What it takes to still pursue academic excellence, even in, so when I hear professor, you have my respect. Because I think that you've elevated yourself, above the rest of us. You've achieved a certain level of humanity that all of us should aspire towards. You have a professor, broad daylight, with cameras around, giving an envelope. When it's captured on, tape, he comes back and says, and this is his official response, I gave them lunch because the EC officials hadn't been given lunch. Who gives lunch at 10 a.m.? He's saying the officials hadn't been given lunch. He wanted the officials to be given lunch at 9? I mean, what is he saying? It's 10. You are giving a fat envelope. You are saying you are giving them lunch because they have not been given lunch. It's 10 o'clock in the morning. So who is being deceived? Who is being like, is it me or is it you? I mean, it's just who? Which brings me back to this issue of the people we put in leadership roles. In any civilized, country, he should be answering questions. He should be, a friend of mine says, unless the envelope contained wache, fork and spoon, nothing else matters. Nothing else should matter at this point. Nothing else. The brazen, to be able to give a fat envelope in public, the audacity you have to be able to do that. I thought he would even go and hide in some corner, and do it. The ability to stand in a public gallery and give a fat envelope to an EC official. My goodness. New laws every time. And for EC officials, you see, for me, when I saw their letter, the word that I underlined was temporary. So they were temporary stuff. And I was saying temporary only to the extent that they've been caught. Because, this is an election. What's the temporary stuff doing there? Or we don't take elections seriously. Or we are undersourced, understaffed. What are we saying? We took a temporary staff to go and oversee a national election. Nothing is adding up. Nothing. So, every now and then I come here and I shout and I, expose my naivety because I always expect something to get done. I always expect that, for this one, how bad this one is. This one will be the one, that would get some action and some signal will be sent out there. And I always get disappointed. So let me hold my breath. Or not hold my breath. Because we all know that, as usual, nothing will come of this one too. Which brings us to the perception of the EC going into a major election. Every now and then we are cautioned to make sure that we don't impugn the integrity of the EC. That doing that will be dangerous for the election. That constantly shouting at the EC and telling the EC to behave well is rather a wrong thing to do going into an election. Well, look at what the EC is doing. And perception is everything for an election. It's everything. Your officials are getting bribed in broad daylight. EC, what are you doing? What are you saying? To call them temporary, it doesn't answer any question. That's not a question. To say what was the word? They've relieved them. Doesn't do anything. That's not the question. The question is about your integrity. That's the question. Where's the answer? Where's the answer? Where's the answer? I wanted to talk about so much, Kwabena Boateng himself. And the fact that, I wouldn't be proud walking into Parliament when this was how I got into Parliament. I wouldn't be able to sort of hold my own as a parliamentarian who has won an election in this way. And I hope that all parliamentarians are listening to me. Because I think that Ghanaians deserve better. We definitely deserve better than a process which is shambolic. And leaders who themselves are shambolic. Because that's how we get results that, again, are shambolic. That's how we get the parliament we have today. That's how we get the parliament we have today. When sanitary pad prices are what they are, and you speak to individual parliamentarians and they tell you, they don't know how it happened in Parliament. They don't know. This is how we get there. This is how laws are made in this country, and individual parliamentarians cannot speak to it. They are clueless. They are sitting in Parliament completely clueless. I said it with my full chest. This is how it happens. And so, as a people, we will continue to shout. We will continue to shout. We will continue to take the name honorable of the name. I do that. If I don't find you honorable, I don't call you honorable. I think that if we all did that, we will have parliamentarians and we will have parliamentarians. If the process will not take account of our feelings, our voices should let people know our feelings. This thing where, you know, we anyway, sometimes let me leave it there. I would say that for me, and I think I've said it already, I'll just reiterate, the biggest issue in all of this is the voter turnout. And I pray that going into December 7th, you know, on that morning, all of us, in fact, if you like, don't bath. You can come back and bath after you've cast your votes.
You don't know what you are calling for.
No, I mean, I want us to wake up with one thing on our mind on December 7th. I want everybody to wake up with just that one thing.
Can we smoke before we
No. Honorable, no, don't do that. I'm calling you honorable. Yeah, don't do that. No, don't do that. Don't do that. I mean, we all need to see it as a responsibility. If it's something we do for ourselves, on December 7th, every Ghanaian should come out. As soon as you wake up, just go and cast that vote. Because it is important. The rate at which Ghana is sinking. We need to get up and we need to save our state. Because for some of us, this is all we have. Thank you, Ivy.
Thank you, Mami.
Just before with you, I said something earlier on about Hopes in Adoy making a very damning allegation that today, absolutely, as we speak, the MPP, the Electoral Commission hasn't responded to. He said on a public radio station that most of the electoral staff in that by-election came from NPP polling stations in an adjoining Kumewu constituency. Hopes Nadoy said it, I didn't say it. As we speak today, nobody has debunked it. So, and the reason why I bring it up is the EC's insistence on labeling the polling station workers as temporary.
Temporary, yeah.
So inherent in that, like that's where the madness is.
Because it is not possible to have the entire staffing of a particular polling station to be temporary staff. There would be, how do you call it, permanent staff, at least supervising the temporary
but
staff.
But you see, this is the same
So
EC.
who was actually manning the polling station? Who was responsible for the polling station? For someone to give money to a temporary staff.
This is the same EC whose deputy chair is a paid-up member of TESCOM, right? Who sat on a public program and said the NDC was the problem in this country. That's what Dr. Bosmanasai said, and I'm quoting him. Right? This is the same EC. Just yesterday or 2 days ago, Codeo has asked 2 members of the Electoral Commission to resign because they were serial callers and pundits and panelists for the MPP, Dr. Piahini and the other lady. Forgotten her name right now. Right? We have heard the chairperson of the EC insulting an NDC on a hot mic. Remember? She said it in Ghana. So why are you surprised? I've told you people,
put yourself in neutral. Don't let anything surprise you. Just be vigilant. Right? Because if we have gotten to a stage where you have to get high to go and vote, I mean, goodness knows. I mean, you might find it. Well, are you surprised that the incidences of sport ballots have increased? Because the people go there, they go and vote for blank.
Because of what I said.
Vote for blank.
Someone was just telling me that the reason probably might be that the weed prices have really shot up. The reason.
You see, my brother, there again, I've told you before I made my substitution, always qualify what you are saying, because if we are invited to the camps to come and explain the recent increases in weed price, you might have a problem. You might have a problem explaining yourself. And if you are not lucky and you be NDC, Jampari is listening, you know what will happen next.
I think I have to take the opportunity to invite him to count.
But you know, certain topics will be, I shall, refuse to answer certain topics.
Okay.
I can talk about my profession or my life as a politician, but increase in the price of the holy herb shall not be. So look and do that.
But you see, weed is not a bad thing for other purposes, except
the abuse of it.
The abuse of it, and also the purpose for which it was distributed in Nigeria. I think it's a disrespectful act.
Yeah. It's like giving toffee to kids.
It's not the best.
Yeah.
And the president must be ashamed that if this is his legacy, he's leaving office, bearing in mind that the people of Nigeria were giving
It shows
weed.
they don't care.
They don't care. They don't respect them. They don't
want
respect
to.
them.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to our next topic. President Akufo-Addo's selective treatment of chiefs. I'll begin with Don.
Well, I think first and foremost we must look at our chieftaincy today. One, I think that we have all, one way or the other, lost that cultural and traditional respect that we have for where we all hail from or come from. It is only once in a while then you would hear someone saying that, well, I was in a university and I studied African studies or something, and blah blah blah, and that's about it. For most of us, we really don't really study what culture is, where we come from, how things are done, what you don't do and what you have to do. We all came from homes, others probably from clans and others. But bottom line is that when you are the visitor, no matter how high you are, and you enter into my house, I would sit and you would greet me. That has been the traditional protocol. Even in the event that the people are coming to visit you, and probably to, the visit is important to you even. They would greet you, and you as the head of the family, and I'm saying head of family because I am a Ghan. We don't believe in some of the things you believe in. After you have greeted me, I will select elders from my side to also get up and greet you. And that is how it is done. So, looking at the president and from where he's coming from, he's coming also from a family that would have chiefs and other traditional authorities there. And therefore he knows what is right and what is wrong, what to do and what not to do. In fact, in public, you cannot even use your, hands. I don't want to say point at people and say, get up. It's even disrespectful not to the one you are actually communicating with, but to everybody in that forum or at that event. So what I believe we have lost, and the president has totally lost, is he has lost his cultural settings and how things are supposed to play out. This did not start today. There are videos of Nkrumah greeting our chiefs. He did not ask them to get up. In fact, when you are the visitor, you don't have any authority in our cultural and traditional settings to ask the one you are visiting to get up. And in the same manner, if the chiefs, no matter how high they are, visits you in your palace, which is the Flagstaff House, right? They cannot ask you to get up. It will be your choice to actually get up and probably show them some respect and other things. What for me, I think the statement I read with, I think we are coming to a point where we believe that things should be changed. And that is the voice I am hearing in there, that, well, things now should change, that the authority of the state is high, so high than any other authority, and therefore all must bow to the king. Right in England, I don't see how. I just don't see how the Prime Minister, right, would wish that the King of England would get up and greet him or her. We have had these challenges over the years, but never to this extent. We've had our political heads disagreeing sharply with our traditional heads, and it has happened in our history, but never to this disrespectful end. I think that we all need to get back and know what we are really doing when we talk about our chiefs and tradition. I believe that we have lost it. I thought it was with us, the young folks. I never thought that the over the 70 bar guys can also be that disrespectful to our tradition and culture. He wasn't disrespectful to chiefs. He was disrespectful to our tradition and our culture. That says that you have to show that amount of respect to our chiefs. Our chiefs preside over our stools. They preside over our people. They are the true leaders at our traditional end. And they are the leaders of our culture and custom. When you disrespect them, you have disrespected our tradition, customs, and rights. And for me, that is shameful. That is very shameful. If I know this is what is going to happen, or this is what is probably going to happen, when I am in my house and any politician is coming, I'll let people rush out and tell him that, hey, don't enter here. Because at no point we would get up and greet you, the politician or the president. And I never thought that I would see this day. I never thought I would see this day. It is most shameful. Even if the West, those coming from the West, who we thought or we all know that really they don't really regard that because it's not really incorporated in their culture there. They will come here and show so much respect to our chiefs, no matter how low the chiefs are. And you, the president, in fact, this is the forefront of our tourism. 90% of what people see out there and the reason they will want to visit Ghana It's the way we revered our chiefs and the way they dress gallantly in public and all and all that. That is the only reason. But our chiefs have nothing to offer them apart from probably lands. That's either to now it's being used for galamsey. So I don't even know what they are going to offer. But bottom line is that he has disrespected all of us. It is not that chief alone. Because I am also coming from a house that believes in royalty and tradition, customs and our rights. And therefore, if you can disrespect one chief, then clearly you would, given the opportunity, you would disrespect mine too. And when you disrespect mine, you have disrespected me. In fact, me, I have my top. I won't vote for anybody who disrespects my chief. I am from Naiwe. I may have issues with my Naiwe. We will solve that in our rooms quietly. Worst case scenario, we will go to the Agbachuemi and settle it. But if you, a politician, and I even belong to that party, you disrespect him, I will vote against you. Just on that. Just on that, I don't care your policies, I don't care whatever, I will vote against you because you have disrespected everything I represent. I did not choose. It is not my choosing for God to put me in that house. It was God who put me in that house. It was God who determined who my mother should be and who my father should be. And that is where I come from. Yes, we are all Christians. I do go to church. But I was born to a particular home. And that home must be respected. That house must be respected. Bottom line, there is no compromise on this. If you disrespect what I represent, traditionally, culturally, I will go against you with everything in me. And that is what the people should do. It is surprising that they also got up at a point, which in fact gives some credence to what the other side did, that they somehow were right. Why should you even get up in the first place? In a way, Ghanaians, we are timid when we see political head. Who puts them there? It is us. They are there for us. Unless the democracy we are practicing today is another set of democracy we are not aware of. But if not, the politician there does not own himself. We put him there. He must do what we want, what we decide. And that is why we have the representatives who today have also lost their way. They think they are representing themselves rather than representing the people. And that is why we are in a confused state as we speak, because we have leadership and somebody who have even been appointed as Minister of Chieftaincy who don't know his left from right. What are we talking about? You have the responsibility to have studied the customs and cultures of our people, to even educate the president that, Mr. President, you are wrong. This is what you are supposed to do. This is not what you are supposed to do. You don't come and give explanation to why it is right that the president is the highest whatever office, and therefore people who told you that. If you like, let anybody call the president come to my house and disrespect us in this way and see whether they will go back wherever they are going the same way. They won't. We should stop all this. What we think we are doing today, right, will destroy the future totally for us. Because that is what even we have ended up doing. Today, our traditional authorities are not respected, and therefore they cannot bring order to our various townships. I remember when I was kids, I was a kid. The then Nailomo could summon anybody within Accra to his court, and has the authority to even put you in cells. And there was order. People who misbehave, when you hear that you have been summoned to Naiwe or something, you will be shaking. Today, because of this same politics, elders who should know better, over 70 years, who should know better, are disrespecting the very thing that brought them up. Are they not from homes? Were they not brought up in families? Is this what was taught to them? It is shameful. It affects our tourism. It affects everything we represent as a Ghanaian. What are we talking about? This is shameful. That statement shouldn't have come out from that minister also. And that is where myself and Anama, we disagreed. You know, the recent La issue, that Nungwa issue that came up, I disagree in many forms with what happened. The ceremony is wrong. That is not how it was done. In the past, it's been done, and even today it's been done elsewhere. You don't hear of it. You don't print cards. You don't put it out there. You don't go and IMCs and all that. It is performed in the house quietly, nicely, and all that. It is not a marriage. It is a marriage between a divine being and a physical being. And therefore, you don't do it as if it's a marriage between two people. My greatest worry in that is that we, the custodians of those traditions, ourselves couldn't even explain it well to people. And that is shameful. That is how much we are losing our tradition and culture. That we have young men and women who don't learn. We have a bunch of illiterates going around claiming they are traditional people, they know their left and from their right. They don't know. And the politician and the ones who are supposed to be at the ministry of tradition or whatever also did not know jack about what happened. That is the greatest shame.
Thank you, Mr. Annan. Mr. Osu.
Well, as for President Akufo-Addo and his desire to destroy every institution before he leaves is shocking. It's unbelievable. But many a times what shocks me is those indigents that clap for the president when he misbehaves. And there is a gentleman by the president, I mean one of his security personnel, who himself is a chief, Alhaji. From all the videos that comes out, he seems to be the one with the left hand pointing at the chiefs. Get up, get up, get up. What sort of life is that? You yourself, you have been made a chief. That must be accorded a respect. Or you would expect any future leader to accord you a respect when you are sitting there. You are the one leading this whole despicable act. Our chieftaincy institution is captured in our constitution. They have certain rights that they enjoy. I mean, respect is earned. The president has the duty of making sure that our economic well-being is catered for. If you are not doing that, you don't expect people to be respecting you. The mere fact that I stand up to greet you does not mean I respect you. He must get it straight. If you know how people are angry at him, you have seen him. That he is a chief. He himself is a chief, and the ease with which, the arrogant manner he will be pointing at the chief to get up. You see, there is a reason why in public occasions like this, chiefs do not get up. You see their regalia, the kind of things that they wear. There are a lot of things that they have tied around themselves. So when you let them stand up, they are likely to lose a lot of items. That is why they even sit. And the president knows about this. He knows about it. When you were the opposition leader going around, you never did it. You never exhibited some of these things. Why now? Why now? And you read the statement from the Minister of Chieftaincy and you want to vomit. Asamoah has never been serious. I don't know. Being a minister is not the only job available in town. And if you are not made a minister, you won't die. Because
That's the only job.
He's the only job in town.
For some, yeah, that's the only job.
So what about those of us who are not ministers?
We are dead.
Hey! So 2025, is he going to die when the MPP is not in power? You will definitely find yourself out of power one day. And that is why you must be measured. This statement clearly shows someone who is timid, such a person who, if you allow him to go and advise the president, even when the things are not good, you go, so everything is all right. And it is the reason the president feels that he is performing, because they don't tell him the truth. It's a very disappointing situation. Remember the president banter with Aflao chief. A harmless request that the state has invested money into a classroom block. Mr. President, my people are not getting a place to school. And mind you, when that building is completed, it's not only the people of Aflao that will benefit from it. All over the country. Come and complete it. He went on Peace FM. You heard the cheeky answer. He doesn't respect anybody. Violence here. A national anthem was being played. You don't even know the situation of the chief, whether he was even sick. Take your time and find out why a national anthem will be played. And for the information of the president, look, anytime I visit my war school and the national anthem is being played, I cry. Nobody minds, because they have lost hope in this country. People no longer believe in the state. That's why I say respect is earned, it's not commanded. What are we doing to bring back the love? You don't do this by showing openly how powerful you are. The same national anthem in Mampong, the daughter, a national anthem was being played, the daughter was receiving a call. Why did he not openly deal with the daughter? Is the daughter more powerful than the chief? The inconsistency. You went to Yabongura's place. He was standing there. Then he was eyeing him, giving him sign. Get up, get up. Hey! The man was also laughing. Me, I won't get up. Today. Then you have NPP members from that part of the country rather defending this action. The president will leave office one day. What would you have done to your traditional authority? And it is like that. It starts from a small place. He is increasing it because the Yagbongra, his seat, or what's the name, skin, it's not a small one. I'm telling you, gradually he will move it to Manjia, and he will be eyeing and signaling Otuvo, get up, get up, get up. That is where the Ghanaian will form a committee to look into these irresponsible acts of the president. But why is the National House of Chiefs not talking about this? They will not be able to speak to this matter because a lot of them and their sub-chiefs are involved in Galamsey, that the president is aware. A lot of them go to this president to go and take handouts. So they have all become toothless bulls in this country. The president knows what you have done. So who are you to come and speak against me? And that is why we are where we are. The president must be told that his core mandate is to make sure Ghanaians are happy, as is enshrined in chapter 6 of our constitution, article chapter 6, 36, that all of us must be happy. Are you happy? Interest rate high. This morning, I can't imagine. Societe Generale that we all pride ourselves with is about living Ghana. See the number of people that are going to lose jobs. That must be the priority of the president. Fuel price. Petrol. Now people, you go to a lot of garages, you see a lot of home used cars. It's not that they have bought new ones, so they have used it to go and take loans, take it from me. And they are now walking because of the actions of this president. These are the issues we expect you to fix. Unemployment, inflation, high cost of rent. This was the president, led by the Vice President Baumia, that promised us that they will be providing us with rent allowance. Now he has changed it and said bold solution. What is his bold solution? We are going to make national rent allowances, eh?
Yeah, advances.
Advances. Oh, you are. Now he has run away from that. He said he's not going to make national service mandatory anymore. That is his bold solution. They are running away from the core issues of the country. So, this one, Ivy, don't be surprised the president will do this. He will continue to do a lot of things that Ghanaians will see his true character. And that is why I've been admonishing Ghanaians that we must always analyze leaders before we vote for them. Don't be following the crowd. Because the moment you vote for a candidate, you have entrusted your destiny to that person for the next 4 years. Now the president, the flag bearer of the MPP, he says he goes around with the bus and campaigning. Do you believe in that? He will board the flight to get to Takrady. They move an empty bus. You see how they are misapplying our funds? Then when he gets to Takrady, you go and sit in the bus for like 5 minutes. Along the way, he jumps into a Land Cruiser. Whom are you deceiving? Already he's cornering the country. This is a pure scam. And the people of this country must not allow this scam to happen. So it is not something that I expect the National House of Chiefs, in spite of all your wrongs, to begin to speak against some of these things.
Thank you, Mr. Owusu. Engineer.
Thank you once again. You see, once again, I hate to remind people what I said these people were going to do when they came to power. Do you remember when Akufo-Addo was going around saying, where did he go and do it? Was it not to the same chiefs and people? At that time, did he tell them to get up? No. That, where I come from, is called Okrama and Hobrasier. You see, dog humility. That's before the dog gets the bone. Let the dog get the bone and see what happens. But even more fundamental to Akufo-Addo's conduct has to do with where he went. You see, diplomacy is not my strong suit. So I'm not going to couch it in any other form but to tell you that if Akufo-Addo goes to predominantly Akan-speaking areas where MPP votes are, he will not dare to tell any chief to get up. So Solo, he will never tell Otunfo to get up. He will never tell Ochihini to get up. He will never tell Okuapihini to get up. He will never tell Kwewumahini to get up. He won't even try it. But he will go to Shai Hills and tell the chief to get up. He will go to Oti region and tell the chief to get up. He will go to the north and tell the Yagbonwura to get up. Because he knows that they don't vote for him. Why? Hasn't he openly said that he avoided, he declined to develop certain parts of this country because they didn't vote for him? Akunfi, he said it. Didn't you hear him saying it on several occasions? Haven't you seen that there are people in this country, in the Oti region, who have been denied parliamentary representation in the last 4 years simply because of where they come from? And they have been told that if you like, go and join another constituency. As if it is like they are going to eat a chomo, point them in that direction, let them just go and join that constituency. But he's done it. And everybody has sat down and they watched. And you see, let me go to Asamoah Gyan. And once again, what I'm about to say is not going to be very complimentary. You see, the last sentence in what Asamoah Gyan wrote. The tradition of showing respect for authority, including the request for chiefs to stand when greeting the president at public events, serves as a testament to Ghana's heritage and tradition. What tradition? If you read the constitution of this country, the chiefs and the traditional leaders are the custodians of our heritage. I don't know when any of you were born. I don't know which president you saw. But I grew up, I saw General Achampo. God rest his soul. One of the best leaders we have had in this country. We tied him to a stake and shot him. I saw my uncle, General F.W.K. Kufu. One of the most dignified and peaceable human beings. We tied him to a stake and shot him.
To your family members, they have no Ghana power. You are part of the problem.
And Kufu was my dad's brother. I don't want to go there. But I saw President Liman. Very respectful. I saw President Rawlings, 6'3". Bema Tintingram. Going to traditional leaders and prostrating himself. A military leader, nonetheless. He could do many things. He could even fly aircraft. God rest his soul. I saw President Kufuor, a man's man, stands at 6'4", right? Big, tall man, going to leaders and prostrating himself. Saw President Mahama. And then there's this guy. Right? All of 5'3". But demanding, that's why I said earlier that I don't know whether it's an issue with being vertically challenged and his line of sight to the chief is challenged, and therefore the chief should get up. Other than that, and other than the tribalism and the ethnocentrism, I don't know why you can have the courage to get up and go to a traditional leader's domain and tell him he should get up. Get up because you are who exactly? They are there for life. Oh. But Asamoah Gyan writes this. You see, Mommy, I beg you, with your advocacy, please advocate that mental health be taken seriously in this country, especially for people who are going to be appointed into public positions. Because if Asamoah Gyan writes the tradition of showing respect for authority, including the request for chiefs to stand when greeting the president at public events, serves as a testament to Ghana's rich heritage and traditions, there must be a problem. And the problem could be anything, including mental problems. Many of the people who are in position in this country have mental challenges. What tradition? What tradition in this country says that if you go to a chief's domain, you should get up? Are you not the one visiting? Let me break this down to the lowest common denominator. Any of you, if you go and visit somebody in his house, and the person is sitting in his living room, isn't it the person's prerogative to decide to stand up and greet you? Most of the time, so where is the tradition that Asamoah Gyan is talking about?
The tradition according to Kufuor.
Mommy, please preach about, because if this is not boorish buffoonery, then it is a mental problem that you actually write this. You see, because in a time to come, people are going to associate you with this statement, right? Asamoah Gyan has gone from supervising beauty contests, Miss Ghana, and now this is what he's writing. This is what he's writing. I don't know whether he was commanded to do it. I don't know whether he was compelled to do it. But everything he has written is complete waffle. And at certain times, the best thing to do is to keep quiet. That is what my mother taught me. That sometimes, come here, they just decide that you are not going to touch it. Because we've seen the video. And like Solo said, the president's bodyguard himself is a chief. Right? The president's bodyguard himself is a chief. And so I wouldn't like his job. Telling his fellow chiefs to stand up because the president is coming. So the day President Akufo-Addo is not president anymore, is he not going to go anywhere? You see, let's look, my fellow Ghanaians, and that is, I'm borrowing my cousins. Yes, my glasses are not round though, but my fellow Ghanaians, let us come to a nadir in this country. Let us have a come to Jesus moment in this country, where we recognize what is right and what is wrong, because the lines have been blurred for far too long in these last 8 years. If we have gotten to a point where traditional leaders are being told selectively because of where you come from to get up, because the children are coming, we have a problem.
Thank you, Engineer.
She agrees with you from Tabana Central.
We have a huge problem. Listen, sit down and analyze what I'm saying. I'm saying that if we have, so let me turn this around. Let's get to a point where Alhaji who has the same mentality as a Akufo-Addo, but comes from Yagbon because he's a Guan and I'm half Guan. So I get to Otumfo's palace. And I say, Otumfo, I'm sorry, Mega. I get to Ekropon, my hometown. And I say, Okwapini, one sorry, Meko. There is something that nobody is talking about. Do you know that at that event that the Yagbon refused to get up, do you know that all the MPP people present there left the ceremony early, including the president? They left early because they were upset. In that video, we saw the minister and for lands and the MP of that area begging the chief to get up. Did you see it? So imagine the day Alhaji Kojo is the president of Ghana, and I get to Ogwan in his palace. I get to Ogwan in his palace. I say, Nana, I'm sorry, and when I get to Gamanche's palace, that's if there's a Gamanche there, and I'm with my brother and me. I say, no more of teaching. Right? I get to talk with Afrede's palace. Say, talk if you don't get up me, this forget about this house of folk battle. If you don't get up me, Jolly, I leave. I mean, are we all going mental in this country? Madam.
Thank you, Engineer. Mami?
This is sad. It's very sad. You know, it's a sad turn of events. I'm not a very traditional person. I believe in what every Ghanaian should believe in. That's our constitution. That's why oftentimes I get into trouble with my Don. Because, you know, when issues arise, I believe in a fair society. You know, as somebody that's socialist at heart, I believe in equality and equity. You know, that every human being, regardless of status and class and, you know, all of these artificial classifications that we do, that everybody should have some level of, you know, dignity and respect, that we should all be able to flourish. And in fact, that every one of us should protect, you know, the dignity of the next person. For me, that's what humanity is all about. And so any attempt to classify people and put somebody above the other because of where you were born, because of which parents you were born to, or things like that, I get a little, uncomfortable. But even me, with all of this background, I respect tradition. And I respect our traditional authorities because I believe with all of my heart that there's a place for that. It plays an important role in every society. I feel the same way about religion. Be you Christian, be you Muslim, be you Hindu, be you whatever you are, there's a place for religion in any society. It tempers our basic instincts. Because of religion, there are some things that somebody would ordinarily do, will not do because he's Christian or because he's Muslim or because, if he's a good one, if he's a good Muslim or he's a good Christian, there are some things that the person will not do because of that religion. The same applies to tradition. If our traditional leaders are doing what they are supposed to do, they will serve as an important check, on all of us and how we live, in this society. Let me come at it at another angle. When we talk about leadership and leaders, I think the best leaders are the servers. The people who understand that for me to be a leader is to serve. Again, let me come to religion. Let me go to Jesus Christ. We are told of how he washed the feet of his disciples. Let's talk about who? Great leaders that you can think about. And I want to speak about leaders that have, stood the test of centuries and decades, and Gandhi. And we know them for humility, for service, for a certain disposition towards their role and towards the people that they lead. Now, the minute somebody misses that, the person is a bad leader. This is science. It's simple. Anybody who doesn't understand that leadership is service is a bad leader. Anybody who thinks that leadership is, the people serving to his whims and his caprices and making him happy is a bad leader. A good leader is one who knows that his role is to make the people who follow him and the people that he leads happy. That's a good leader. That's the one who thinks about you. That's the person who eats last. That's the person who makes sure that your welfare is catered to and for, that you are well taken care of. Anybody who has it backwards is a bad leader. Need I say more? Look at the state of this country. Need I say more? Look at where we are today in Ghana. Look at our economy. Need I say more? Look at everything that has happened under this administration. And it saddens my heart. I'm going to say this. It saddens my heart because of a personal story. There was a time that I used to insist that President Akufo-Addo was not arrogant. Yes, I used to do that. I have friends who still remember these arguments. I've had, these arguments a couple of times. And it was because of a very personal story. I went somewhere with my mom. We were not with my dad. It's too personal, but I'll still say it. And, we went to this place, we sat down, we're just in our corner minding our business, which is what we normally do, in the back somewhere, And President Akufo-Addo walked in with a whole entourage. I think as he was going, I don't know, somehow he turned around and saw my mom. And I remember him coming all the way back to come and say hello, to her. When he didn't have to, there was no, we were way in the back. There was no reason why my dad was not with us, And that little thing he did, again, call me naive, sort of left a mark on me, And I thought that an arrogant person wouldn't bother. Even if he sees you, he can pretend he hasn't seen. He doesn't need to. That's one. I can give 3 or 4 more examples, which are not even personal, other situations that I've seen. And to me, I put all those things together and I said to myself, oh, he may not be so bad. Well, I stand corrected. I stand corrected. Because, I mean, chiefs seated at a public event. Chiefs seated at a public event. Anybody who grew up in Africa, anybody who grew up in Ghana, anybody who has a mind with some level of decency and what is right and what is beautiful. I mean, how do you gesture to a chief seated in the presence of all of his people to get up? Oh my God. Wow.
Let's hope I get a white envelope.
Wow. It's just, you know, and it takes me back to everything that was said in the past when he was trying to be president and he kept not getting the nod. And, you know, we're all wondering, oh, he has served Ghana. This is a human rights activist who has, you know, led demonstrations, who has done this, he spent his life, you know, and we're all wondering why. And some of us were shocked at his close associates that kept warning us, no, it will be a mistake. We didn't understand. Recently, I had an interview with Dr. Nyahu Tamaklo, and he reiterated, he said, the reason why we warned you, even though he was our friend, that don't vote for him, is because, this is where you live ... and you do this, is because, well, here we are, right? I remember him clearly saying something along the lines of, he was not going to be a clan president or the head of a clan. He was going to be the president of a nation. Ivy, did you hear me? Listen to the words he used. He said he was not going to become the head of a clan. He was going to become the president of a nation. And they knew that for that, he could not do it. His close friends. Let me go on. So everybody who knows him, who has worked with him, told us that, and I mean, listen, somebody can be great somewhere and be awful somewhere else. And leadership is a calling. It's not for everybody. Leadership is a calling. It's not, you know, it's like saying that, oh, you know, let me use a random name. Kofi is intelligent, so Kofi can be a leader. It doesn't follow. It doesn't work like that. Or Kofi has done something which is wonderful, and so because of that, we can give a nation to Kofi to. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't follow. Who you are as a person, what you believe in, your virtues, your principles, your attitude towards people, humanity, it's crucial to the kind of leadership that you give. And it's sad, really sad for me, that in the last year of a presidency, this is how you choose to, you know, exit. It's sad. It's sad. It's so sad. I have to say, it's terribly sad. But then for me, the lesson here, for us as Ghanaians, is that when we are voting for people, let's look at them on paper. Their CV, went to Harvard, went to Oxford, went to Cambridge, let's look at all of that. It's important. It has a, you know, there's a place for that. But let's look at the person's heart. Because that really is where everything is. That's where you get your leadership. Not on paper. Not on he has been to here, he has been to UK, he has been to US, he has been to Germany, he speaks 28 languages, he has met with the Queen. Those things are fine. It's okay. Right? But let's look at the person's heart. Because that is where leadership is. That is where leadership is. And that is where development is. Because it's a direct consequence of leadership. Who a person is and how the person can motivate us, uplift our spirits as a people, make us believe in our country again, make us want to wake up in the morning and go to work and work with all of our hearts. That is a direct consequence of leadership, and that is directly linked to our development. So please, Ghanaians, let's shine our eyes.
Thank you, Mami. Now, unfortunately, our time is up, but quickly, let's end with the MayDay celebration, where the General Secretary of the Trade Union Congress, Dr. Anthony Alba, has pleaded with President Akufo-Addo to fix Dumsor, since it has affected businesses. And I'll begin with Engineer. 1 minute each.
Go back and read all the tweets that Akufo-Addo put up during the time when he said NDC was supervising Dumsor. But at the very least, President Mahama admitted that there was Dumsor. He stood in Parliament, accepted responsibility, and went on to fix the problem and provide the incoming Akufo-Addo government with excess capacity. This is a government that said they were going to come and industrialize the country, and yet when they came, their main point was that there was excess capacity that Ghanaians didn't need. So why didn't you take it to industrialize the country as you promised? One district, one factory. What do they need? Do you operate factories on steam, or you operate factories on electricity? They weren't interested in doing that. But most importantly, as we speak, the president has admitted that there was Dumsor for a few days on May 1st. And whilst he was speaking, my lights were off. He said the problem has been solved, but my lights were off. I was watching him with a generator. His energy minister still refuses to admit there's Dumsor. The president is saying there's Dumsor. The energy minister said there's Dumsor. I mean, you see, Mami, once again, I'm going back to my point that I earlier stated. You see, increase that advocacy for people who are appointed into government. Because the president said there is Dumsor. He said it at MayDay. We all heard him. Up to today, just as yesterday, in Parliament, the Minister for Energy said there is no Dumsor. It is Dumsor. Mami, increase the advocacy. I'm telling you, you should approach, like multilaterals, and we need help for people who are going to be appointed into government in Ghana. Because if they are assessed mentally, we will know who to appoint and who not to appoint.
Mr. Usu.
The truth of the matter is that since the 1980s, Dumsor has been part of us. In fact, in the days leading to the year 2000, the Jerry Rawlings administration experienced Dumsor, and that led to Professor Mills losing in 2000. In 2007, Ghana experienced Dumsor again and led to the MPP leaving office in 2009. In 2014 to 2016, we had Dumsor, and John Mahama left office in 2017. So if in 2024 we are experiencing Dumsor, it's a sign that the MPP is on its way out. But the question you ask yourself, Ivy, is whether or not the Ghanaian will have to go back to the NDC that are also unleashed Dumsor onto us. NPP Dumsor, NDC Dumsor, NPP IMF, NDC IMF, NPP high exchange rate, NDC high exchange rate, NPP high fuel price, NDC high fuel price. The only reasonable deduction that any Ghanaian listening to it, particularly the workers, who knows how things are so difficult, is to make an informed decision, is to make the right decision come December 7th. Look not the chinye nor the elephant, but rather look straight into the eyes of that humble giant, Alan John Kojo Chemante, and vote for him. So that, the noise levels alone will come down when these two political parties are now in opposition. How beautiful it will be. Can you imagine we coming to this studio and you are introducing NDC represented NDC in opposition, representing MPP? How beautiful it will be. And these two political parties, they do well in terms of their communication and in terms of their policy directions when they are in opposition. It will be so beautiful to see the MPP and NDC in opposition, so that they offer all the constructive criticism to help Mr. Alan Chemante to better the Great Transformational Plan. And on this note, I invite Engineer Chumbuafo, Amaprat, the Don, to join hands, including yourself, to vote out these two incompetent political parties and reinstate the dignity of this country.
Thank
and
you,
unless
Mr.
you don't give anybody any opportunity to speak again, this platform has only one opportunity.
Mr. Wilson, thank you.
So why are you not telling him to do what is this? This business of when we do anything, you come back and clear, you are like a clear agent. Who will not be tolerated here? You have had your chance, I've had my time. Why do you want to come back?
1
Why do you want to come back?
MayDay celebration. Please, God is on the floor, please.
Clear like a clear agent. No, for the Parliament of Ghana.
Let's give them a
When he comes here, he speaks his mind. When I'm done, he come back.
Please, we don't have much time. Please, we don't have much time. Please, engineer, please, don't. Please.
You are not going to speak again.
Don't.
Well, I think that the workers were pretending to be concerned about the issues of or the challenges of our nation, and the president also in the state of obvious denial of where we stand at this moment. And I believe that this has been the case all this while. I think the Workers' Front have lost that verve they used to have, and it is worrying because you don't need MayDay to actually articulate these issues. The workers of VRA knows what the truth is. The workers of ECG knows what the truth is. The workers of GRIDCO knows what the truth is, and workers of the various IPGs also knows what the truth is. So if the leader of the workers comes out to say something, and the president is saying that, well, that is not the case, and we are fixed, we are okay, when in fact the situation is not about capacity, it's not about generation, it's not about the non-availability of fuel, but we are being told that something is being fixed. Does the ECG waits for everything to go down, or its transformers to go down to fix? No, that is not what happens. They are fixed or retrofitted as and when it is needed. There is no large scale. We have not seen any of that. The bottom line is about money. The bottom line is about the economics of this country, where you are able to manage the currency so well that your legacy debt balloons and out of range and gets into your fiscal policy or the budget, that you would have to take hold of it and finance it, which means that we all have to shoulder part of that. And those who suffered the most are the workers. And yet they sit silent with no complaints and leave that to us politicians to talk and make it look as if, okay, it is empty. That is the only reason why Solo will say, oh, and these people has, and this way, and so where is he coming from?
Mami,
he's coming from a failure.
Thank you, Don. Thank you, Don. Mami.
Well, I mean, the TUC, the present TUC, I'm on record to have, been praising them, and that is not to say that they are doing excellently or hitting the mark. That is to say that the TUC almost fell asleep, for so many years. And this present, TUC administration, organization, seems to, at the very least, be awake. And I'm choosing my words really, really carefully. There was a point at which TUC used to be the biggest and most active, campaigner for the Ghanaian worker. And we could hear TUC issue statements on everything. We could hear TUC lead conversations, and then they just went to sleep for so many decades, so many years. And this TUC seems to be awake, but we need to tell this TUC to sort of ginger up some more and take its rightful place in the forefront of workers' issues, workers' agitation, especially now when the Ghanaian worker is so impoverished, so taken for granted, so neglected. It'll be beautiful to see that the TUC rise up to the occasion, because now more than ever, in this era, more than ever, we need a TUC. My only thing, I have to say this, the TUC's theme for this year's celebration of MayDay was Election 2024, the role of workers and social partners in securing peaceful election for national development. Okay, it could have been more. It could have been more. I think that, and forgive me for sounding like a broken record, but I think that election 2024, Charlie, peace, yes, but there's need for more vigilance. You know, civic duty, civic response. I think there's so much more at stake for election 2024 than peace. I don't know. Correct me. Listen, for me, there's so much more. There's so much more. So, I mean, call to the TUC, you are doing good, do better. And also call to all CSOs and all, you know, stakeholders in this our nation, Ghana, that Charlie, rise up. We need to rescue Ghana. And we can't do it calmly and relax like business as usual. That will not serve our purpose. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so let me do this few messages on Facebook and then wrap up on the show. Good morning, good afternoon. It's afternoon already. I'm watching you and your distinguished panelists live from the Esuaso Community Day Senior High School in the Ofenso North District. Keep up the good works. Since Solo joined the movement of change, he has become an interesting person. So fire and Sako. Kudos to the Director General of the TUC. He painted without any equivocation the true state of economy and the plight of a Ghanaian worker. Okay, Benjamin and Kuma says, I'm watching you live from Accra, Newtown. Let the Ghanaian voter hear about the Ejapa dear document of Akufo-Addo and his Achim group of companies. Now, the utterances and posture of a President Akufo-Addo dangerously and straight away qualifies him as a dictator. Yes, mental health is a great concern in this era. And the NDC win or lose election 2024 will depend on Ashanti region. So let's open our eyes in Ashanti region. That says the game of this year election is vigilant. Our problems are judges. These types of issues can be solved only if we have judges who can stand for justice with the help of prosecutors who can bring people to book. And we are pleading with the leadership of the NDC. We don't need any press conference from them again. They should get down and work. The work is on the ground. Press conference will not bring anything to NDC. Wow. Baba, thank you for your message. This is his job to is it his job to feed the EC officials? Samuel Ishon asked. And President himself doesn't respect chiefs nowadays. Finally, Amma Pratt, like father, like daughter, the same fire. Nasser Muhammad, thank you for your messages. We do appreciate it. Now, today happens to be the birthday of the Member of Parliament, the incumbent Member of Parliament for Jomoro constituency, Honorable Dorcas Afote. It's your birthday today. We wishing you long life and prosperity. And also, this has been the Alhaji and Alhaji show, the mother of all talk shows, with me, Ivy Benantiti Nakite, who's sat in for your regular host, Mr. Senna, and we were live across V stations: Shine FM, Akachi 96.9, Hits FM, Adaklu 91.7, and Shawasi Radio, Keita Karachi 89.7, Sela Radio, Dabala 97.1, Diamond FM, Tamale 93.7, Bewa Radio, Yendi 106.5, Radio Kita Saboba 95.7 FM, Benya FM, Elmina 90 or 105.7, Global FM 105.1, Ho, Volta 1 TV, and Zeps FM 95.9 in Zabila, True FM 92.5, Lamaraya FM 89.1, 90.1 FM, and Buem 88.7 FM in Jasikan, Lukusi 96.1, Tain FM 90.9 FM, Sepele FM 104.3, Akwini Radio in Pando, and the Almighty Radio Gold 90.5 FM here in the Greater Accra region. Big shout outs to the producers of the show, Tijani Usmanu, Erabna Frimpon, Latifa Adams, Ruben Ado, Dion, our director for this afternoon, and Titi and social media blessed man Alomaso. I'll say a big thanks to our panel, Mr. Michael Niya Boy, who is a financial analyst, and Mr. Solomon Owusu, member for Movement of Change, and also engineer Kwejo Chumbwa for Genia, who was a former CEO of Free Zones Authority, and finally, Mame Amapratu Sudan, so General Manager Pan African Television. My name is Ivy Abnadidi Nakita. We'll end the show with a video from Sena's wedding yesterday, and yes, it was a great one. Thank you for tuning in, and see you same time next week.